I grew up in North Carolina, and our family would take a trip to the coast pretty much once a year, it seems like. And whether it was North Carolina or Virginia coast or one of the coasts nearby, and it was, several hours of driving, usually 4 or 5 hours of driving. And then we get to the coast finally, you could smell the difference in the air. And then as we would generally turn down the streets that would have, wherever the places are that we're staying at, I remember just loving every single time when you first got that first view of the ocean, right? And there it is, and you're so excited as a kid. And as you drive along, you're glued to the window. And every time there's a break between the buildings and stuff, and you can see the ocean, it's just this excitement. And it was such a fun thing because there was such a, it's pretty much a vacation time at the beach. There's generally a pool at the place we're staying at, and even if not, the ocean is right there. So you got the beach, you got the water, you can jump in the water and swim, you can search for shells and shark's teeth and just whatever might be on the beach. And the anticipation of that build up, by the time we got to the point where we could smell it and see it, it was just so, the fulfillment of that, and also that increased anticipation for that moment we could get our feet on the ground, our feet in the water. And that was just a really cool thing. And here, there's these several spots like this where there's beach access, and so you can drive along some of these roads. There's not a lot that are there, but each one of them I see as I drive by, I look down and it's like, there's that enjoyment of that little view and that little sliver of, there's the beach right down there. And even though I've lived here for years, there's still something about that, the presence of it, what it represents in my head, because there's a whole list of stuff that the beach and the ocean and the water and the, just the whole picture all around just represents. And so I love that it's still something that is there, even after all these years, where it's just, there's that anticipation, there's that delight in being able to see it, and to envision being there. And like I said, there's a whole pile of stuff, but it's just, I love that there's that anticipation. And there's so often that, there's a couple of roads here in the town where I live, Kihei, and that go alongside the ocean. And those are the two main routes through. And there is one that's close to the beach. And so a lot of that, you get these little tiny views here and there as you go, and then you get a little more view as you get further south on it. And just all of that, there's something, it's like I can get home a little quicker if I take the highway, but I prefer so often to go ahead and take the lower road so I can see the ocean, have that slower pace, have those little spots where I can see and enjoy, and sometimes just pull over and take a look, or go down to the water or whatever, especially during whale season when the humpback whales are here. Sometimes there's that, you pull over and you run out there because there's some whale that's breaching or just rolling by or just whatever it is. And that is just so cool to have that available. And, whether you live here, or near the beach, or whether you live toward the mountains, or whether you live in town or just in a desert, whatever it is, there are places that likely sing to your soul a little bit and that draw you in. And sometimes we get so busy with all the hustle and bustle of things that we don't get as many getaways or vacations or mini vacations as we want. We don't often get a chance to take the scenic route, or do we? And sometimes it's, why don't we? Sometimes we get so busy going from place to place and feeling like, we're on the clock, the schedule is too tight to do so, but also is it? And also, could we schedule a little more time so that we can take a drive along some scenic route that we enjoy, or take a lunch break at a park and just stick our feet in the grass or the water if there's a stream or a pool, or just kind of park it under the tree, or go to some little vista where there's a overlook of some, whatever it is. Even if, and I'll probably talk about this some other time, but I thought the other day I was over at Lowe's and it was evening, and I was in the garden section with my sister. We're looking for some orchids and stuff like that. And it was just the nighttime lighting and all the plants and all that stuff there. It was just like being in a little garden. It was kind of enchanted, and it was really cool. So whatever that is that you can add into your life to give that enchantment, that anticipation, that a little bit of food for your soul, something that kind of sparks you up and lifts you up and makes you feel a little more alive. I think it behooves us to incorporate that in our lives even more. Here on Maui, it's so in your face, it's almost unavoidable. And I love that. No matter how busy I get, there's a view of the mountains or a view of the ocean or there are palm trees overhead or just whatever it is. And I love that. My drive or my commute is often where there's the ocean or there's whales. And sometimes during whale season, I'll allow more time so I could stop and pull over. Sometimes I'll bring my camera with my zoom lens with me and get pictures, just whatever it is. It's so cool to have that available. And I love that it's so readily available here. But no matter where we are, even if it's the heart of the city, most cities are going to have parks and there's going to be little tiny spots here and there or some sort of overview. A lot of times there's places not too far out of town. So, what about ending our week or taking a little bit of time after or before work or during lunch break or on the weekend sometime just to go and visit these spots that enrich and nourish our souls and lift our spirits. I think with things in the world the way they are, I think we need that stuff more than ever. And I think, man, life seems to be set up right now where it's just, everything seems like it's designed to distract us and take us away from what's real. What's important, the stuff that is good for our soul, it is insidious. And if we don't intentionally act against that, intentionally plan and stage things to offset that and to relieve ourselves of that and to feed our souls and to reset our conscience and to bring us closer to nature and our brains and our thoughts and our hearts and what is real, I think we need that desperately. And so anyway, I was just running some errands and driving by this vista and the next one, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to pull on over there and kind of share that with you guys because it's something that I'm not always even really conscious of it, but as I drive down, I'm looking that way to just like check out the view right behind me and others that are like that. And there's several, and we need that stuff. Is there some cool spot where you are that you either do that or think about doing that, or that you're thinking now you want to and you should? I'd love for you to share it down below and just kind of put your thoughts in there. I think that's such a fun part of all this is sharing that stuff. And it gives us ideas and it makes us feel like we're not alone, and it helps increase our resolve and make it more real. So please share and please give it a whirl. Get back to the stuff that we need, even in wintertime, which is coming up. You got all fall colors and then you got snow, but snow is its own kind of cool beauty. And I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but if there's a good snowfall, especially if the moon's out or whatever, to get out sometime in the night or wee hours of the morning and there's that blue glow over everything, and it's just really, really cool. At least I remember it being really cool. It's been a little while since I've been in the snow. Anyway, whatever it is you choose, whatever you do, and sometimes even if it's just watching a video or checking out some pictures of scenery, I get response like that a lot from my pictures that currently I'm posting on Instagram and Facebook. And it's just, where people are just, thank you for sharing. I really needed to see this. And I appreciate that. And I know exactly what it is because I lived that. And there are times we just need it and need it really bad. So have a great day. Have great with your intention and talk to you later. Bye.